Welcome to the Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast, starring Q the Boss.
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. They call me Q the Boss. Today's topic is building on an unstable foundation. Let's get straight into this, man. When you look at a foundation, it sets the precedent to how a person behaves. It sets the precedent for how a person thinks. It sets everything that you see. Any good foundation starts from the ground up. So today's question we're going to ask a few times is, would you build your dream home on quicksand? Would you build your dream home on quicksand? I genuinely believe that most people are building a foundation and it's unstable. So they're building on an unstable foundation, believing that this foundation will hold up anything they're trying to build. I see a lot of people who have potential. And the term potential doesn't necessarily mean fact. It means the idea of what one believes can come true with the right work ethic, the right environment, and doing the right things. But a lot of people believe that these things are going to happen and manifest just because they believe that it can happen for them. That's where you see the foundation being weak. I genuinely believe that anyone who learns to build from the ground up would ultimately build the greatest foundation. There's a story that I admire so much since I was a kid, but I think a lot of people let the story go over their head. This is a story of the three little pigs. The first pig built his house out of straw, meaning he wanted to build it so fast so he can get back to playing and having fun that he didn't set no strong foundation. So ultimately what happened, the wolf came, blew the house down, and caught the pig. The second pig built his house out of sticks, thinking like, you know what? I'm gonna do it a little bit better. So the second pig, as it was building his house out of sticks, it realized that it was done with a medium effort. What happened is the wolf came, blew the house down, and ultimately got the pig. And the last pig is the pig that decided to do the hard work. The pig that said, I'm gonna build the strongest foundation because I don't want the wolf to come blow my foundation down. But the other two pigs who wanted to get back to having fun didn't realize that the foundation was weak. So the third pig decided to build his foundation with bricks. And as the pig built and built, it saw the two other pigs having fun because they built their house very fast. And ultimately, the pig built his house strong. The wolf came, tried to blow the house down, and the wolf failed. And this pig survived. But the problem is, I'm asking you on my live today, what pig are you? Are you the one that want to do everything easy? Are you the one that has a minimum but medium effort? Are you the one that's willing to do what's hard? Because the term hard only stays hard to those who only want to do what's easy. Let me say that again. Hard will remain hard to those who always want to do what's easy. But the more you do what's hard, the easier life becomes. So I ask this question. Would you build your dream home on quicksand? That's a true question and a true statement in itself. Would you build your dream home on quicksand? And I'm hoping that most would say no. Because if the foundation is weak, then there's nothing that's going to hold up. All you need is one bad storm, and you'll see that your whole dream, your whole vision will subside. The other day, I was talking to a particular guy, and I want to hear this. I do this a lot because I do a lot of research. I ask people their mentality. There are two friends. One friend is going through something mentally. The other friend is going through something mentally. And what I realize is what these two friends do every day, they project. When one is telling something good about himself, the other one has to project how they feel about themselves to them. So it's like I say something like, yo, you could be more. The friend be like, yo, you ain't gonna do this. And I'm gonna give you the scenario. I'm gonna talk about it. And the person knows who I'm talking about. One of the friends decided to quit smoking. He said, you know what? I'm doing this cold turkey. I'm going to do what's hard. He said, Q, I realized that I want to build my foundation over. So I'm willing to do everything that's hard so things can become easier. So he said, you know what? Cold turkey. I'm going to stop smoking today. No patches, no weeding them off, nothing. He just cold turkey stopped smoking. I'm going to tell you one of the most amazing things. So I said to him, yo, your son would be so happy if you talk to him and tell him that you're not going to smoke anymore. He said, wow, you know what? I'm going to do that. He called his son and he said, son, I got something to tell you. The son said, yes, Dad. The dad said, I'm no longer smoking and I'm not doing this no more because of you. Through the phone call, you could hear the son sound like he wants to cry. He felt like his dad is making a great decision. He felt like his dad was willing to change. He felt like his dad decided to reinforce his foundation. He felt like his dad was no longer going to make excuses. He felt like his dad was making a better choice. And as I sat there and heard this conversation, I was blown away. And I was blown away because I looked at him and I said, this is the start, but you got to get to the finish line. Complete your race. And I promise you, you're going to thank yourself at the end. But I'm going to tell you something. His friend looked at him. This is his friend. He looked at him and said, he ain't going to do it. He going to quit. As soon as he get away from you, Q, I promise you, he going to start smoking. He's going to keep going back to his old ways. And I said, boy, that is a way to pour power into your friend. You're pouring nothing but the willingness to quit and give up. You're not pouring life into your friend. See, one thing about that, you take a cup, right? You take a cup and you can pour something in that cup. And one thing about a person's cup, you can either pour life or death into someone's life. And this friend was pouring nothing but death. I don't believe you. I don't trust you. I don't think you can do more. Because the friend they may feel like because the friend didn't want to quit smoking, he didn't want to believe that the other friend could stop smoking. See, in life, you'll have people that project. They project how they feel about themselves onto you. And when they're not ready, they don't want you to be ready because there's something called FOMO. And FOMO is called the fear of missing out. And when a person fear that if you're going to change and I'm not willing to change with you, either A, I'm going to lose access to you, or B, you're going to leave me behind. So guess what some people do? They project, right? Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't leave me. I don't think you can do it. That is a poor decision. The reason why people talk like that is because people aren't secure with who they are. They're building on an unstable foundation. You look at a lot of people who don't understand the ground up built. The ground up is what you got to do. Sometimes you got to break things down to rebuild your structure. Sometimes you gotta knock things down. See, the value is not in the foundation. The structure all the time. Sometimes it's the foundation. That's what keeps things together. Because if you build something very, very easy, you'll realize that it comes down very, very easy. You can't build on an unseasoned mind without learning from a seasoned mind. Let me say that one more time. You can't build on an unseasoned mind without learning from a seasoned mind. There are people who will find time to do the most unprominent things, but believe they'll have the most prominent results. There are people who will find time to go around people who don't want to do absolutely anything, but they believe they're going to have so much from doing anything. This is the mentality that you can see that's being built. When you realize in order to change your mind, you have to unlearn and undigest some of the things your mind have digested. When you realize that your mind is like a computer, you can download information, you can alleviate information, you can delete information, or you can A, keep and hold into information. The mind hoards what it learns. And as it learns, it regurgitates what it learns. A computer only repeats what it's taught. And that's the same thing as a human brain. The human brain only repeats what is taught. So if the mind is taught how to be a failure, the mind will fail. The mind cannot go past what it's taught. Because in order for the mind to believe it, the eyes have to see it. And once the mind believes it, the eyes tell the mind that it's possible. But if a person don't see it, they don't believe it. So therefore, they don't realize that the foundation that was never there is the reason why they haven't built anything. You have to look at the soil that you're building on. You got to survey your land. You got to look at yourself. You got to survey yourself. You got to survey your land and realize while you're developing the mentality that you want, you're developing the consciousness for what you want, and while you're developing this mentality, you're going to realize that you're going to develop the results by the mentality that you have. You cannot develop anything if the mind doesn't believe that it's possible for developing it. You cannot achieve what the mind don't believe is possible. And this is what we don't realize. Most of us say we want greatness, but if we do things that reflect that we want failure. Most say they want greatness, but do things that reflect failure. It is a foolish mentality to follow someone who is not winning, but still yet believing that one is going to win. It's a mentality. It's a mentality. I released a course, and for years, people told me, Q, you need to do a course. And I was like, I don't want people to think this is a money grab. And the guy said to me, Q, it's not about a money grab. It's the mentality that you've learned how. My book that I released is called The Art of Reprogramming the Mindset. I realized that the reason why most people fail is their mentality. If one don't believe it is possible with their actions, and notice I say the term actions. Actions are more valid than words. Words can say anything, but it don't mean anything. I could tell someone I hate them, but in reality, my actions say I love them. We just talking logic. So I decided to release this class. It's called Empowering a Healthy Mind. Empowering a Healthy Mind. This course has everything you could imagine to help you move forward and get out of your way. Most people are the tree in the road for them going to the next level. Imagine you're driving in a car and you see something laying in the road, and when you look at it from afar, you notice that it's yourself. The only thing that's in your way is you. And the sad part is you're the person that's gonna continue to be in your way because you don't realize that you're the only person that can move you out your way. Nobody can remove you out your way. You got to realize it's time to get out your way. But I say this with conviction. This course has taught so many people. I have something called a Discord. And a lot of people that are in this Discord, they find favor in it because they're like, yo, Q, 1, the course is good. 2, the quizzes in the course is good. And 3, it's reprogramming a mentality to be successful. See, I always say this. One thing about people, they will invest in things that have no value, but they won't invest in the things that have value. When one goes to the gym, they're looking to fix their body. When one goes to the doctor, they're making sure that their medical, everything about them is okay. But the one thing I've learned, and it's one of the most valuable commodities that we have outside of time, is our mindset. So when you look at the fact that you're not willing to invest in your mindset, it says that your mindset says that you don't want to be successful. It's a mindset thing. It's a mindset thing, right? It's a mindset thing. When you make reservations for your beliefs, whether right or wrong, you will get the results of what your beliefs are. In most cases, most people will ultimately fail. I remember when I played sports, and I want my guy to hear this, because you know we sports guys. I was riding on a bus, and I'm a goon. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a goon when it comes to sports. I'm a goon. I'm a goon in life, and I'm a goon in sports. I'm a goon as being a father. I'm a goon as a friend. If I got your back, I got your back to the end. That's the kind of person I am. But watch this. I was on a bus, and one of the players looked at me and said, Yo, they mad big. I said, who? He said, the dudes on the other side. Look at it. We coming off the bus. He's worried about how big they are. I said, I don't give a damn about that. He said, why? I said, because they can't measure their heart because of size. Your size don't always reflect your heart. So I said to him, I said, I don't want to hear that. I said, we going to war today. And I said, either A, they're going to pick me up off this battlefield dead, or B, I'm going to reign triumphant. I'm going to survive and win. I go to war every day knowing it is what it is. I'm that guy. I don't care about what's coming my way. You're not going to hear me crying about life. You're going to hear me fighting back life. If life kicks me, I'll punch it. If life punch me, I'll kick it. I'm that kind of person. I don't submit or quit, no retreat, no surrender. I'm a fighter. And that's what I'm going to do to the end of time. I will never quit, no matter what. As long as God put breath in my lungs, I'm going to continue to persevere. I'm going to continue to achieve. I'm going to continue to believe. My mindset says that I am great. My mindset said that if you don't believe in you, who will? My mindset says that you are the king that you want to be. My mindset says that the empire you want, you have to build it. And the sad part about building it is first, you got to worry about the damn foundation. If you don't build the foundation, nothing is going to be great. Foundation is a fundamental concept in psychology, representing a solid ground upon which our beliefs, values, and actions are built. Just as sturdy foundation is crucial for the stability and the longevity of the physical structure, a strong foundation is essential for a meaningful and fulfilled life, a fulfilled life. And that's the reality. But are you willing to build on an unstable foundation? You'll never get to results believing that you're not worthy of the results. Sometimes you get a blessing and you know what you say to yourself? I don't think I'm deserving. There is something, right? And we talk about this a lot. And me and one of my young guys, it's called the imposter syndrome. I want somebody to bring it up. The imposter syndrome. I realized that you can believe that you're living a life, but in reality, know that you're not deserving of this life. You shouldn't be in this life, whether good or bad. You could believe that what you've seen in your mind is ultimately where you're supposed to be. One can't drive to results when they don't know the directions. One can't listen, if I tell you how to get somewhere I've been and you won't even receive the directions, that means you don't want to go where I've been. That means you're trying to go somewhere else. I'm going to give you an analogy, and I want y'all to hear this good, right? There was a guy, and I broke it down to him. I said, imagine if there was a snowstorm, and the snow was about 7 feet high. I decided to go outside and shovel my way out to success. And I'm gonna tell you how most people behave. After I shoveled my way out to success, 5 hours later, you decide that you wanna go to success. Most people won't follow the trail. What they'll do is dig a whole new trail, trying to figure out a whole new direction to get to somewhere someone already been. I'm gonna tell you this on record. Success leave trails that only fools won't follow. Success will leave a trail that only a fool won't follow. So if I watch someone build a strong foundation, why wouldn't I follow the same results of what they've done? The wisest man or the wisest woman is one who can learn from someone else. They don't have to touch stoves to burn their hand and say, oh my God, I witnessed you do it. I can learn from the mistakes of others, not repeating the mistakes of others so I don't get the same results as others. The wisest person is the one who can actually do the opposite. You cannot follow a fool and expect to be great. The only thing you can learn from a fool is how to be a fool. But if you do the opposite of a fool, guess what? You'll get great results. But if you do the same thing as a fool, expecting to not be a fool, then you're the fool. Damn. And that's the truth. We're building on an unstable foundation. We want to grow. We want to learn. We want to elevate. So I ask you this question. For those who are on my live right now, raise your hand honestly. When the last time you opened a book? And don't lie. When the last time you opened a book pertaining to what you want? When the last time? Someone said today. And if you did, I give you your flowers. Someone said today. When was the last time you opened a book? Someone said yesterday. But what it is you learn that like-minded individuals having access to these people can ultimately open the doors, right? Because you ever went to a door and it has a keypad on it? What? If you press in the wrong code, what happens? Access denied. But if you have the person that has the code to that door, guess what? They put the right code in, guess what? Access granted. If you want to go through that door, you got to find sometimes people who have the code to get through the door. Access granted. But if you keep just punching in numbers, it's going to keep saying access denied. What I'm getting at is you don't have to always have the code. But if you're around someone who has the code, guess what you got? You got the code. Because the code isn't always the numbers. Sometimes the code is the person that you're around that has the numbers. Who is building with you? I'm asking this question. Who on my live right now understands the value of a team? Who understands that? The value of a team. Who you building with? And I'm gonna keep it real with you. When you building, you gotta realize that in most cases, and I say this with conviction, in most cases, birds of a feather flock together. In most cases, you are the company you keep. In most cases, if you hang around people who are foolish, chances are you will be foolish. It's a mentality that we gotta learn. We gotta undigest this poor information that we've had digest. We've been taught how to be programmed. And the programming is that we have is how to survive. Most people don't understand. They've been playing this video game called life. And they're winning because they're surviving through life, not realizing the actual game you should be winning in is how to win, not how to survive. You don't want to just survive. You don't want to just survive. I realize that people are comfortable surviving. And survival is not winning. Imagine just making enough to pay your bills, and then every month you have to reset that same button. You're gonna make enough just to pay your bills. You're gonna make enough just to pay your bills. You're gonna make enough just to pay your bills. You're gonna make enough just to pay your bills, only aging and aging and aging and aging and aging and aging. Sometimes I tell people it's not the money that you make. It's what you do with the money that you make. It's the lifestyle with the money that you make. Do you live within or out of your means? Are you excessively wasting funds? Do you care about what people think about you? Do labels and brands make you jump? When you see a car, are you blown away? Do things that don't carry value make you jump, skip, and hop? Are you not wasting your money on frivolous things? Are you investing? Are you consistent with your empire building? Are you allowing the foundation to crumble? Are you hanging around people who are smarter than you because they're gonna teach you how to be smart, right? They say the smartest person in the room is usually the fool. Because in most cases, the smartest people want to go in rooms that are usually smarter than them. But the most unsuccessful minds want to go in rooms that they're the most smartest people. And this is a mentality. This is a mentality. This is the mentality. A lot of us are running on a hamster wheel. We're running on a hamster wheel called the continuous pattern of life. Wondering why we're having the same continuous pattern all through life. I was talking to a female the other day, and I was explaining to her the difference of logic and feelings. Sometimes your feelings will make you make the poorest choices because it's feelings that make you very impulsive. You'll think in your mind that you're making the right decisions because your feelings. You know, the heart is the gateway to failure because your heart is led by emotions, feelings, and ego. So if you're being led by your heart, you're gonna fail because your heart is being led wrong. If I tell myself right now something that's not logical, only a fool would allow someone that stole from him in his house and leave him in a room alone. That is not logical. My feelings is I care for the person, but I'm gonna still watch this person. You know why? Because that damn person's a damn thief.
Damn.
They're a goddamn thief. So I'm gonna watch them. But to give a person that's hurt you access to hurt you again and again and again, that is insanity.
Damn.
But we don't realize that the structures that we're not building, we want empires. We want to get to the levels of the Mount Rushmore of success. We want to make millionaires. We want to make very successful mentalities. But I ask this question: how are you going to be a millionaire when you're not comfortable saving enough money to be a thousandaire?
Damn.
How are you going to be 100,000-aire when you don't believe that you're worthy of being a 10,000-aire?
Damn.
How are you going to be 100,000-aire when you don't believe that you could even get to any real levels? Your mindset is what predicts where you are. We sit back and we evaluate the human brain. The human brain can become complacent based on the environment, the structure, and also who you constantly around. In most cases, you won't notice that the people that you think you're around, that you're comfortable around, is the reason why you're comfortable in your same situation. Because I'm gonna tell you something, in most cases, humans are naturally competitive creatures. If I'm around people who are doing 10 times better than me, even if they're doing 10 times better than me, I might fall in halfway where they are, ultimately leveling myself up to a better level. We talking logic. We talking logic. We talking logic. But we still those people on quicksand trying to build our dream homes. We in environments that don't even make sense to help us develop our growth. I told you, I dropped a class, and the class is called Empowering Healthy Minds. This class allows the average human who works an average 9 to 5 to realize that it is not about what you do for a living. It's about what you do with the money that you make from what you do for a living. Let me say that again.
Damn.
Let me say that again. My course I just dropped is called Empowering Healthy Minds. And I say this with conviction. The course teaches is not about what you do for a living, but it's about what you do with the money that you make from what you do for a living. That's the problem. When you look at some average Joes, they live like they're not average Joes, therefore ultimately falling under average Joe because they want to perform as someone they're not. Being comfortable in your situation, I'll tell you like this, you can take a person who can have matter of fact, you can have 100,000 in the bank, drive a modest Civic, right? And have very limited debt and own his own home. But most people will look at the person that has $500 in the bank, they drive a Mercedes or a BMW, they got poor debt, they got so much debt, right? They look at that person as successful because it's their mentality, right? And this is what it is. Your mentality makes you believe that that person, imagery, has you believing that they're successful. But a wise man can play a fool, but a fool cannot play a wise man. A wise woman can play a fool, but a fool can't play a wise woman. I told a guy the other day, I said, you feel good in your environment because they say the one-eyed man or the one-eyed woman is the queen or king in the land of the blind. Did you hear that statement? The one-eyed man or the one-eyed woman is the king and the queen in the land of the blind. And a lot of people are comfortable being in the land of the blind because they're the one-eyed man or woman. They know a little bit more, they do a little bit more, they have a little bit more. So therefore, you believe that you're more than what you actually are. But in reality, both of us have disabilities. But the fact that you can see a little bit, you believe that you're more than just a little bit. Because if you want to talk about this narrative of wealth, wealth is silent. Wealth is quiet. Wealth is like the church, the mouse in the church. Just moves around quiet. That's wealth. Wealth is not flashy, it's not boisterous, right? And we talk about these things that we want to get to. But it's sad that sometimes you have to show your wealth for people to believe that you're actually who you say you are. In most cases, the people that look like what they are, they usually aren't. I didn't create the narrative. I remember years ago as a kid, a guy said to me, and I'm going to say exactly what he said to me. He said, the flyest black man in the room is usually the brokest. And I looked at him, I said, say that again? He said, the flyest black man or black woman in the room is usually the brokest. He said, in most cases, the people that have the bags, the shoes, the clothes, the car, are more so image. It's not real. But what I'm trying to do is teach people how to live comfortable in their reality, ultimately changing their reality, because you cannot change your reality if you don't change your mentality.
Damn.
But again, when you say these statements, people still figure out, how can I be the exception to the rule? You know how you could be the exception to the rule? By identifying that you are not the exception to the rule. If the rule was set before you came on earth, in most cases, if success to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and all through the rest, all the way to Z, you'll get there. Most people want to reverse the alphabet and do the opposite. They want to start at Z before they start at A. They want to start at the finish line before they start at the starting line. They want to start at millions before they start at $1. That's the problem. When you don't identify that you have to start at 1, then 2, then 3, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's running your race. But most people aren't comfortable in their race because they're too busy watching others race. You want a race running your heart out, looking at the other track, worrying about who's winning on the other side. Win your race. But again, we've created this course. It's called Empowering Healthy Minds. People say to me all the time, like, yo, why did you create a course? I said, I created a course because I realized that more people need to reprogram their mindset. More people need to be challenged in their thought patterns. Because I'm gonna go on record and say this, and I'm not talking bad about religion, I'm just gonna be honest. Imagine a devoted Christian and imagine a devoted Muslim. Imagine them trying to convert each other. Don't sound like they're gonna get nowhere, right? That's the same way I feel when you try to teach someone's mind how to be successful. It's like the devoted Christian and the devoted Muslim trying to convert each other. It's both of them just yelling at each other. My religion is more superior than yours. That's how most people are when it comes to talking about teaching them how to be successful. Their mind has made reservation that there is a shortcut. You just mad because you haven't figured it out. That's how they think about you. But when you figured out success, success is a very slow process. And that's what people don't understand. So you want to throw your food in the microwave. I'm putting my food on a stove, cooking it slow because it's cooked with love. That's how you got to look at your finances. When you look at your finances, right, you see it as a microwave. You pop it in, you pop it out. That's not how money works. Money is like a stove. It cooks slower. And that's how you have to cook. Let me cook. Don't always trust what you see. Even salt looks just like sugar. Let me say that one more time. Don't always trust what you see. Even salt look like sugar. But y'all ain't hear that statement. If you took a salt shaker and you filled it with sugar, and then you took a salt shaker and you filled it with salt, by eye, who can identify the difference? The only way you can see it is by taste. You will never be able to tell a difference by sight. And that's what we get in that. The person that look like their life is together is really salt. And the person who looks exactly like them is the sugar. And the sad part is you look at most people, they pretend to the point where they forget to become successful. You pretend so long to be rich that you actually forget to get rich in the process.
Damn.
Damn. Tap that screen, guys. Let's run this up. Let's run this up. Tap that screen. I'll be going crazy for y'all. Let's tap that screen. This is all freestyle. This ain't no written content. This is me speaking from the heart, me being honest, me living in my truth. Tap that screen. I want to see thousands of likes. That's the only thing I ask from you. But let's talk this narrative. People are building on an unstable foundation. It's wobbly. There was a video I seen a house go up. And this house was built in literally 2 months, a whole house. A storm came. It was going like this. I was like, yo, no foundation, no structure. I'm asking you on my live today, right? When you start building a house, do you build from the second level first? You build from the ground up. And when you look at people, right, who see that building from the ground up is nothing wrong with that. Because throughout your process of building from the ground up, you learn something called sustain. How to sustain things. That is the hardest thing about chasing success. It's sustaining. Most people want the big house until they realize how hard it is to maintain a big house. Most people want the success until they realize how hard it is to maintain success. Most people want to be rich until they realize how hard it is to sustain wealth. Most people want to build great things, but they don't see that it's hard to build great things because those things take time. But most people aren't willing to invest their time in themselves. I say this again. I dropped a course called Empowering Healthy Minds. This course teaches you a mentality. It teaches you how to think. It teaches you how to behave with money. It teaches you how to live within your means. You got somebody on my live right now who should be like, yo, I need that course. But they won't get that course. Well, they'll get the new bag. They'll get the new shoes. They'll watch the latest trending thing. But what about the trending you? When are you going to start trending yourself? When are you going to make yourself go viral with success? When are you going to make yourself obtain the goals that you have in your dreams? When are you going to stop making excuses? You ever looked in the mirror and said, enough is enough? I'm tired of lying to myself. I'm tired of being the reasoning for my failure. I'm tired of making excuses. I'm tired of pointing the finger at everybody else but don't see I should be pointing at myself. I'm tired of doing the same thing every day but expecting different results. I'm tired. Because until you're sick or tired of being sick and tired, you're not going to change your results. You have to be sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you're sick and tiredly change your results. And that's the truth. I got sick and tired of my results. I got sick and tired of my mentality. At one point, I was that guy that sat with a bunch of people who said we were going to own a bunch of things and we had no money. I was that guy that hung out with a bunch of losers who were doing a bunch of loser things, and we were doing the loser things thinking that we still was going to win. I was that guy that told myself that I'm going to do what's illegal, but guess what? God's going to bless me because he knows I have a good heart. No.
Damn.
And this is what we don't realize. This is what we don't realize. We got to counter our thoughts that we've been programmed to think of. We got to counter our beliefs from what we've been taught. We got to counter our environments, the way we behave. We got to counter our mentalities, the way we act. Because if you can change the way you think, it will change the way you act. And if you can change the way you act, you can change your results. Let me say it again. If you can change the way you think, you can change the way you act. And if you can change the way you act, you can damn sure change your results. But I ask this with conviction. Who is willing to change their mentality? Who's willing to go down a road that's less traveled? Who's willing to be the cornball? Who's willing to be the cornball? Because I say this with conviction. In the black neighborhood, a cornball is a good thing. I want to be the cornball. I want to be the cornball. Because the cornball in our community only means the person that's doing what's right. It only means the person that's doing what's right. And today, I'm willing to do everything that's right because I can no longer go left. I got to stay on the right track. Because I'm going to tell you something. Even a train who has a track can be derailed. And most people have been derailed for too long. They're sitting at stations. You're the conductor of this train, and you haven't put it back on the tracks. We got to get back on track. We got to get back to the station, ultimately pushing ourselves to the next results. Sometimes there's somebody that held your train up too long at the station. Why? Because they're standing in the doorway, and you know the train can't move until all doors are closed. So you got to push that person out your life and say, you know what? It's time to get rolling again. I'm pushing people out my doorway. Look at that analogy. You on a train, right? If you at the train and people are standing in the doors of the train won't move. The train won't move. So as the conductor of that train, you know what you do? You walk through every single one of them cars. You walk through every one of them, you know what you do? You push the people out the way because it's time for us to get rolling. A lot of us want to get there. But I'm asking this, are you willing to get rolling again? Because I am. I'm that fire that's coming to shake things back up. I'm that fire that's coming to do more. I'm that fire. And when you get that new fire, you got to keep adding things to the fire to keep that fire going. You can't quit when things get hard. You can't submit when things are not going the way you want. You can't tell yourself that you're not worthy. You can't tell yourself you aren't deserve it. Because a mind that believes that is not worthy will do everything that you may not deserve. Sometimes in life, you'll realize that people can be good people, but do the worst things to themselves because of the fact that they're not happy with who they see when they look in the mirror. The ugliest person in the mirror is someone who is not confident and loving who they see when they look back at it. Some people look in the mirror like this with their eyes closed. They don't even look in the mirror. They avoid it. They avoid it. And the reason why they avoid it because you're an adult. You have adult privilege, right? You're an adult. You can do whatever you want to change your life. There is no more idle dreams. As a child, you can't make certain choices because you're still a child. You have to look at your life as a book. The book has a beginning, a middle, and an ending. The beginning is no choice. We're born to who we're born to. We have to accept the environments we live in. The middle is where you can start making the choices to change your life. But the ending can be motion picture, can be the best novel I've ever read, for the best book ever. But are you willing to do what it takes to get there? I'm gonna tell you something. Let's look at our mentality. And let's look at our foundation of our mentality. In most cases, you have something called nurture versus nature. You have something called environment. You have something called product of it. You got all these scenarios. When you look at the human brain, it functions based on the belief of the person. So when you look at your mind, right? Take a leech. A leech can only survive by being attached to a host, right? So the negative mind can only survive by being attached to a host. If you allow yourself to attach yourself to the negativity, your mind will ultimately keep feeding the negativity, ultimately making the leech bigger and bigger because it's feeding on your mentality. If you notice, right, we call it the snowball effect. If you take a snowball to the top of the mountain and push it over, what happens as it go down? It gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And sometimes people's mentalities have gotten worse and worse and worse and worse because they took themselves to the top of the mountain and they pushed themselves off and they wonder why their mentality is getting worse and worse and worse and worse. We gotta get in front of ourselves and stop ourselves because the only person that's blocking us from what we want is ourselves. I genuinely believe that I am deserving. I remember somebody told me, yo, you think you're all that? I said, you're damn right.
Damn.
Someone told me that you think you special. You're damn right.
Damn.
Someone told me, oh, you think you a star. I said, I am a star.
Damn.
I said, someone told me, oh, at the end of the day, you guess what? You're gonna fail, and I still have it. Because I'm gonna tell you something in life, when you lose, you actually win because you learn from your losses. Sometimes you gotta take your L's and put them into lessons. Life is not a loss, it's a lesson. The best person in life is one who learns from the poor decisions they've made, ultimately not making the same wrong decision. If you literally survived making this wrong turn, will you make that same return? No, because you know better now. And that's the ultimate thing about life. You learn from the lessons, but a lot of us hate our lessons because in lesson, you can also understand there is a blessing in a lesson. There's a blessing. Because if you survive the lesson and you can never make that same poor decision, that means you've ultimately elevated your mind. But as I said this earlier, for those who don't understand, I have an Empowering Healthy Minds course that I dropped myself. I've created this course. Has a lot of videos. It's a lot of energy that I put into this course. And the reason why I put so much energy into this course, I want those who are willing to walk with me, holding my hand to this thing called success. I am the epitome of the comeback story. I am the epitome of the most improved player. I'm the epitome of the person that failed, lost everything, got kicked out the league and got a second chance. I am the epitome. I am the epitome of God forgives and allow you to come back. I'm the story. I'm the comeback story. But one thing I realized on my journey, I had to face the ugliest version of myself. I had to face all my trauma. I had to face all my drama. I had to let go people I love to death, but I realized that they're not for me. Sometimes you just face things like, it may be your family. We gotta identify something. Family is not because you're blood. Family is ones who are loyal to you. They show honor to you, integrity, morals, principles. They're there for you. I can depend on them. That's family. So in life, blood don't have to make you family. But when you're blood with someone, that means y'all just related. And you gotta understand, just because you're related, don't mean you have to help someone who's not trying to help themselves. Because life is about making yourself successful and then coming back and helping those who are less fortunate, so therefore they can ultimately get to the next level. When a person is not trying to help themselves, you cannot spend your time and your energy trying to help someone who don't want to help themselves. Because all you're gonna do is lose time that you could be helping someone who wants to be helped or someone who don't want to be helped. There are people who do things that don't make sense for them to grow. They build their foundation on unstable land. They chosen the worst places to put their land. That's like you trying to build in things that you know that has no foundation, no structure. You're still trying to make the puzzle fit when the piece doesn't even look like it's supposed to fit there. Imagine looking at a puzzle piece and for years you're still trying to make this piece fit. You're still trying to make this piece fit. That could be a friendship. That could be a relationship. That could be a job. That could be a mentality. See, when you go to spaces now and you be like, I don't feel comfortable there, that means you've grown. You've grown. But in order for you to get yourself out of these poor poverty situations, you got to believe that you're worthy of getting out of these poor poverty situations. Because in most cases, you'll see that a lot of people are something called hopeless. They have a hopeless mentality. I've seen Uber drivers. I have a guy in my course who's doing my course as we speak. This guy is an Uber driver. In the last 6 months, before I released this course, I gave it to a few people just to see if they behave with it, how would the results be. The Uber driver has literally changed his life. He is a 5-figure saver. He has never saved 5 figures in his life. He has never saved 5 figures in his life. He said, Q, and I'm going to give you a little heads up. He said the one thing about the course, it talks about taking food to work, meal prepping. It talks about how much money people spend every day on eating out, to the point where you realize, right, this is why you're losing. Google this for how much does the average person spend per day eating out? Just look at these numbers. They're crazy. My guys are doing it real quick. Watch this, guys. How much does people spend every day eating out? It's simple things that you can put in your recipe of life that can ultimately make your life taste better. There's simple things and ingredients in your life, right? In seasoning that you can put in your recipe called life that'll make your recipe taste better. But a lot of people don't want to change their recipe, but they believe that they're going to still have better taste. Americans spend an average of $3,639 eating out each year, roughly $300 each month. And those fast food meals in restaurants, tabs continue to add up. In fact, Americans spent 20% more eating out in 2022 than they did in 2021. On average, people say that eating out 3 times a month in order to delivery between 4 to 5 times a month. This is what we're talking about here. So imagine if that same person saved $2,500 a month. We're not going to give that whole number. $2,500 a month. A year, annually, by bringing the food into their house, cooking a meal, and taking it to work. See, the problem is we're in competition with the people that are doing the wrong things. We don't want to look like the people's lives that we don't want to look like, but we do the same thing that those people are doing, right? And yet still believe that we're going to look better than those people. You went to the store, you got the same damn t-shirt as the person that's losing, you put the same damn t-shirt on, and you believe that you look different. You went to the same dress store, got the same damn dress, ladies. You put on the same damn dress as that loser, and then you put on that dress, and you don't believe you and her look alike. Damn. Look at that mentality. Look at that mentality. That's how people think. They believe I can do the same thing that people, you at your job complaining about your coworkers being broke, but you still doing the same thing that your coworkers is doing. To stay broke. It's not about the money. It's how you behave with the money you have. When you learn that, again, the guy that's in my course right now is an Uber driver. An Uber driver. And the only reason why I say it, because quote unquote, an Uber driver is not considered a prestigious job. It's an average job. Another guy in my course is a garbage man. He's a garbage man, right? One of the girls in my class, you know what she is? She's a nail tech. A nail tech. These are argumentatively not prestigious careers, but yet and still I'm teaching them how to behave with the money they have, so therefore they're gonna change their life. And I promise you, you're gonna see within a year, the first person is going to buy their first property. We're gonna put it up on video, and I'm gonna be so proud that this person took my course and they ultimately changed their mentality, which changed their results. And what happened is, by changing their mentality, and their reality changed because of their reality of their new thinking. They downloaded some new information. They downloaded a whole new structure of thinking. They downloaded a whole new program for them to get to the new level. And ultimately, what happened, Chris? They got to the new level. They say in order to level up, you got to realize that it takes a mentality to level up. Because one thing about life is the devil is always going to be out there lurking, trying to keep you in the same positioning, hoping you become something called hopeless, believing that, oh my God, life is against me. No one wants to see me win. People are hating on me. Of course, life is hard on you because you might be the one. I genuinely believe that God gives his toughest battles to his strongest warriors. But some of his warriors haven't felt or realized that they're the strong warriors. You complain about the mission that God sent you on, but you believe that you're not going to get to the levels. You got these tough missions because you are strong. You're strong. And it took me years to realize that. So as I was creating this course, I realized what is the reasoning to why the coach is failing. Because they're building on an unstable foundation. They're thinking bad, thinking they're gonna win. They're inconsistent with their thoughts. They don't hold themselves accountable. They lie to themselves. I'm gonna tell you one thing that is on this course, and we talk about heavy in it. It's a fixed mentality compared to a growth mentality. Most people have a very fixed mentality. But in this course, I teach something called a growth mentality. Meaning letting go of what you've learned and taking in new information to learn new things. Because in order to get new results, one must identify that their mentality was wrong. That's why they was getting bad results. It's not the world that's against you. It's the fact that you're not against the world that's against you. When the world gives you flowers, you have to understand it is what it is. When life gives you lemons, you have to make lemonade. A lot of us don't want to make lemonade. We want to complain about what our life is. We don't want to see that our life is what it is because of us. I'm no longer going to complain about something I can change. And I want everyone in my life to hear this with conviction. You can change your life. You can change your results. You can change your environment. You can change your mentality. You can change everything in your life. But the first change that starts with is you. If you want to win, it starts with you. If you want to do more, you got to do it. That term you is what you should finish every sentence. You're broke because of you. You're not winning because of you. You're not inconsistent because of you. The neighborhood you still live in is because of you. You don't have money because of you. You want more is because of you. In the same way that word works in the negative, it works in the positive. I'm rich because of you. You think better because of. You're consistent because of. You're honest with yourself because of. You want more because of. You're doing more now because of. And you're getting better results now today because of. And everything starts with yourself. We got to start telling ourselves the power that we can pour into ourselves. I took myself from a negative situation to a positive situation by believing that I was worthy of the results. I've moved myself mentally into a nicer neighborhood before I physically did it. I mentally made myself successful before I physically became successful. Let me say that again. I mentally made myself successful before I physically made myself successful. I realized that in order for me to get to where I want to be, it's going to take a mentality. And my mentality is controlled by my reality. My reality is controlled by my mentality. I said, no longer sitting back, oppressing myself because I don't see that I am deserving and worthy of anything that I believe that I could achieve. So I sit there and say this on my live before we get out of here today. If you want more, you got to be willing to do more. If you want to win, you got to be taught how to win. In order to win, one must be taught how to win. So I'm saying this with conviction, guys. Believe me or not, download my course. See what it is. Test it out. I promise you, you're going to be like, yo, Q, this is worth it. This was worth every cent. Because not only are you getting a course, you're getting access to something called a Discord. The Discord is putting you in rooms with people who have the same mentality as you. And that's what you don't understand. You don't go to church because of the fact that it's going to take you to heaven. You go to church to fellowship with people who have something called like-minded thinking. So it ultimately puts you on the same trajectory as the people in this space. We ain't going to go into church being wrong or right. That's another story. What I'm getting at is you go to these places to give yourself reassurance that you're going in the right way. For those who want to download this course, hit my messenger right now at QTheBoss516, QDABOSS 516. I'm telling you, this course is amazing. It's OD. It's called Empowering Healthy Minds. This course is thought out. I sat down, I worked it, seeing how to change their mentality, because I come from a poverty mentality to ultimately a successful mentality, because I had to learn how to digest an unsuccessful mentality. I literally had to take out all this unsuccessful thinking, dispose it, and then start building back the new information. So it's basically like learning how to learn life all over again, to see life completely different. And once you do that, your results come from the results of it. So again, I say this with conviction. Are you building on an unstable foundation? Because if your foundation is weak, so will be your results. Don't let that go over your head.